Good morning, Britain. 22 minutes of horror as a 14-year-old boy was killed in a sword rampage, which has left 4 others injured. Hours on the phone.
Yeah.
Gets to speak to them all afternoon. Machetes and zombie knives. It'll make it illegal to own one, distribute one, produce. The Ben Kinsella Trust, of course, Ben Kinsella was campaigning for those weapons to be outlawed immediately. So to make that happen, why are we waiting till September? And 7,500 of them are trained to carry.
Yeah, that's fewer than I thought.
Has gone to Rwanda.
Good.
It's a scheme.
Good.
It's not under the bill that the government passed last. Because if you thought you might be one of the ones who isn't paid £3,000 to take a trip to Rwanda under a voluntary scheme, but is forced to go. And last night called for these swords to be included because it is ridiculous. It's exactly like any of our children.
Absolutely.
He walked out of the front door. He put his earphones into school. And then this happened.
A random...
Included in this ban, samurai swords. Well, you can buy a samurai sword online for a couple of £100, £300, need a licence to hold one of these swords. Why do you not need a licence?
It's the...
To hold, as I said earlier, we can all imagine what that family are feeling right now.
Brutal and horrific.
Brings it all back.
Brings it all back.
Good morning, Britain. It's just after 6 o'clock. Well, it was just over 24 hours ago, wasn't it, when this sword horror was beginning to unfold on the streets of northeast London. Police still waiting this morning to question a man.
We know that 4 other people were injured in that attack in Hainault, including 2 police officers. And police tasered and arrested a 36-year-old man who, as we say, is currently in hospital. Our chief correspondent, Richard Gate, coverage last night was how the times we live in mean that events like this are so often now captured completely on camera. Security cameras, people's phone cameras. I mean, much of what the horror that happened yesterday was continuously being filmed. And that's something quite new, something we haven't really seen very much before.
And, of course, police want all of that footage while they investigate that absolutely horrific incident. Richard Gate, thank you very much indeed for joining us from the scene. Our hearts go out to the family this morning. I cannot, honestly, you know, all of us can imagine just the horror and tragedy that they're experiencing right now. Devastating. 7 minutes past 6, we will discuss this with Andrew Pearce and Kevin Maguire. There is a lot to be done, isn't there, on knife crime, and how anyone can have possession of a weapon like that just defies belief.
Well, pressure groups are now saying that the legislation, which is due to start in September to outlaw the zombie knives and swords, should be brought forward as a matter of urgency.
Yeah, and to include these kind of weapons as well. Right, let's catch up with the rest of the day's news we've shown. And luckily, not going to criticise my boys, always pick up the phone to their mum.
Do they?
Very,
of course.
well.
I actually got a car wash round when I was 14. It's £10 a month.
Those are the days. Charlotte, thank you very much indeed. Right, let's have a look at the weather with Laura.